Taram looked at the lone human, not sure if he should laugh or shoot the defiant ape. The human was young. From what Taram could tell, they were most likely in their early 20s. The human was shivering despite the heat. A woodsman's axe held stiffly across their chest. Taram grinned behind his helmet. The human was afraid Taram would be too if he was facing down more than 100 heavily armed and power-armored mercenaries with nothing more than a wood axe. Finally, the human spoke, stuttering and fumbling their words. "Leave us alone. We didn't do anything to you." Taram laughed, jovially marching towards the human with heavy thumping steps, until he was just an arm's length away. "And if we don't," Taran was expecting the human to beg for their life. Maybe at least wet themselves. He wasn't, however. Expecting the human to swing the axe as hard as they could, the axe's heavy head slammed into Taran's helmet and skittered off the impact, rattling Taram's teeth as he suddenly stumbled back, disoriented. In his daze, Taram heard one of his fellow mercs discharge their slug thrower 3 times. Collecting himself, Taram looked back at the human teen in shock, his ears still ringing slightly from the impact. He expected the human to be dead, but to his utter astonishment, and with 3 thumb-sized holes in their stomach, the humans slammed the bottom of the axe's handle into the ground and shakily got to their feet. The human gasped wetly for air as they shakily lifted the axe across their chest again. "If you don't, I'll hit you again." Taram remained silent, letting his helmet sniff the air for the human pheromones. He did it 3 times with the result being the same. Finally, Taram sighed. "You're scared shitless kid, not to mention dying. Surrender, and maybe we'll have a little memory loss and forget to burn your town down." Taram slowly stepped forward as he spoke. "Trust me, it's nothing personal. Your settlement just so happens to be sitting on a massive platinum deposit. If you just drop the CLA." Taram fell backwards onto his ass as he was hit in the helmet yet again by the human. He'd barely registered the sputtering of the slug thrower as he tried to shake his head clear. The human clearly hadn't been holding back on that swing. Taram looked at the human again, trying to make sense of it all. The human was down on one knee, blood leaking from a sucking chest wound. As they kneeled on their axe for support, the humans slowly lifted their heads, staring defiantly at Taram. Then, with a pain-filled groan, the human pushed themselves to their feet. They swayed unsteadily, skin pale and clammy. "I'll hit you again." Taram stopped his fellow mercs from shooting with a lifted hand before lifting himself back to his feet. According to his helmet, the human was more terrified than ever. He swore he could smell urine through his helmet. Taram was angry now as he marched up to the human, grabbing the axe mid-swing and ripping it from the human's hand before tossing it away. The mercenary grabbed the young human male by the collar, lifting them up to eye level. "Did you really think you could stop us? You've hit me twice, and all you've done is scratch my helmet. All you've done is finish signing your settlement's death certificate." The spark was slowly fading from the human teen's eyes as they spoke. "I just needed to buy time." The human fell limp in Taran's hands, and he dropped them with a scoff. Turning back to his fellow mercs, he signaled for them to continue marching. Turning back around, Taram stopped in his tracks as a figure in void black power armor materialized over the human's body. The fully enclosed spherical helmet betrayed no emotions as the figure gently closed the human eyes with a gentle touch, a soft feminine voice coming from the armored figure. "Thank you for your bravery, young one. May your soul find peace in Folkvanger." The armored figure stood as more and more of them materialized, as if from thin air. It was Tarvank's turn to start shivering as the armored figure turned to face him. "As for you," the armored figure picked up the blunted woodsman's axe and raised it with one hand as a projectile sparked off their helmet. "You get what you deserve." The axe fell faster than a bullet, and the last thing Taram ever saw was its blunted edge bursting through his faceplate.